everyone. Welcome to the Blueprint right here at redmediaradio.com, presented and sponsored by Ethereal Collection. Super excited. We haven't done this in a while. However, we have a remarkable guest for our launch show, Nanette Rhodesia Swain. Super accomplished young lady. We're going to get into so much of that. But what I want you to do is I want you to introduce yourself to the Red Media Radio audience.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nanette Rhodesia Swain. How are you? I am the CEO of D.I.V.A.A. Casting Networks and Productions. I have a few Facebook pages and 2 Instagram pages. The Facebook pages are Nanette Rhodesia Swain. That is my regular page. My fan page is also Nanette Rhodesia Swain. My business page on Facebook is D.I.V.A.A. Casting Networks and Productions. That's D.I.V.A.A. Don't get it mistaken for anything else.
Okay.
And on Instagram, I am Rhodesia60. And also on Instagram, I'm D.I.V.A.A. _casting _networks. Hi, how are you?
Wow. That's a lot. But it's important that people, guys, I'm going to put this up in the comments when the show is broadcasted on YouTube, which is probably next week. But go ahead and follow these pages. There's a wealth of information, and especially on the modeling side, the modeling aspect of your career. I mean, you wear many hats right now. But, I went to a fashion show. I was in the pit, I was shooting, and I was amazed with the poise and grace that you brought to the runway as a model. And that, for our people of color, that has not always been an easy climb to actually break into the modeling industry, become relevant in the modeling industry, because right now you're worldwide. You are worldwide. We're going to get into that. Okay, so you're very relevant, and you have a certain longevity in this whole modeling fashion world. But let's talk a little bit about your modeling career. Can you just share some tidbits, some highlights from your career as a model?
Sure, I can. Well, I started back in the 90s, early to mid 90s. I believe it was like 1991, somewhere around there when I started. And back at that time, the breakthrough for African American women, especially at my age, was not a thing. You had to be anywhere from 18 to 25, and 25 basically was the cutoff, and you had to wear a size 0 to a size 4. And it was difficult for African American women because as we come with stuff. You know what I mean? We come with hips and busts, and we got all kinds of curves, and we come in all kinds of shades and different tones and hair textures, and we come with personality. And in the industry, underground or otherwise, and I call it the underground fashion industry that I exist in or that I work in. I'm not in the mainstream per se like that, but in the fashion industry, black women, African American women, it was difficult because again, we come with stuff. Not that we come with drama. We're just built differently. Right. And the industry was looking for that twiggy, straight up and down, looking like a toothpick or a stick or something. I don't know what they want to call it. But it just wasn't the industry that was welcoming, was open to African American women. So we had a great struggle in order to, make our mark. I had a great struggle in order to make my mark in the industry. Especially, again, I was in my 30s. I think I was 32 when I started. Yeah.
That is, as we speak, how things have changed. It's like with everything else in American culture or worldwide culture, be it sports, be it acting, be it anything, we've always had to overcome these barriers to cinch our place in these different industries. And look at it now.
Look at it now.
We went from size 0 to we need models that can actually fill out this dress or this jumpsuit or, this t-shirt, whatever. We need models that's going to show that hey, and you know what? The strange thing is, even companies have come to a certain extent. They've got a long way to go, but respecting what we bring to the table, meaning people of color, because I can't model save my life.
Well,
Good.
What's most people really need to understand, and the industry itself needs to understand, but the models more so, is when designers create a garment, they're creating from a standard mannequin. And the mannequin can only go with so big. So their creations are based on a standard size based on the mannequin. And the standards are created, unfortunately, by the industry. Yes, we've come a long way. We still have a ways to go. And I am so glad they are now inclusive of the plus size models as well.
So they exist.
Listen, yes, they do exist. The sexy, curvy, plus size, plump, whatever way you want to call it, is tasteful. We do this, and the fact is, we spend money just like everyone else. We spend more money on clothes than anyone else. We may not spend in the high end like the Gucci or the Versace or the Donna Karan or the Louis Vuittons or the DKNY. We may not. Let me take that back. Some of us may not spend in that financial market. Then there are some of us who spend wisely, and I am a wise shopper. I tend to shop with the up and coming designers. In the industry. I'm not a Versace. I'm not a Versace person. I'm not a Gucci person. Only because those are mass marketed. Those are mass manufactured. And I like the unique look of a fashion. I don't want to look at or go to an event and look out in the audience and there I go coming at me.
You know what? You're right. There's a lot, especially for the up and coming Black designers. There's just so much fire out there. There's so much imagination because they're not stuck to what the board wants. They're still tethered to their creativity. You actually have a fashion brand, do you not?
Not in terms of clothing. I work with a few designers as their brand ambassadors.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's what I meant. And I apologize if I misspoke. But
that's
what is that like being a brand ambassador? Because our listeners, the reason why we do the blueprint is to inspire, people that look at these jobs and they think that they're easy. And me and you both know there's a lot of work in the background put into it. And we appreciate people that actually toe the line and do the work and then sit down and speak with us to inspire our youth and show them the right way, not the wrong way, the right way. So, one of the big things is being a brand ambassador. Can you kind of break down what that is like, being a brand ambassador?
It's rewarding. It's fun. You get to, your designer will choose you based on the show that he or she is in. A lot of the designers that I work with, not to say that, the round the way shows are wrong, but they choose the more, how do I say this, Taffy? The more elite, the more open shows that will help to build their brand as well. I'm a designer. I'm a brand ambassador for 5, I think it's 5, maybe 7 by now. I have no idea. Different designers who have, started out with small shows and have launched into small boutique fashion week, New York Fashion Week, Atlantic City Fashion Week, Philly Fashion Week, Boston Fashion Week. Been there.
That is. What advice? Because I know women that I want to be a brand ambassador. What do you think would be a good beginning or a good, I guess, blueprint to start on that endeavor? Because I don't think it's just social media. I think it's more substance than just putting up posts.
Right. It's definitely more than just being on social media. The idea of being a brand ambassador is when you're the model on the runway, you have to forget about you because it's no longer about you. It's true, you're the model, but realistically, as they tell you, as the model, you're the coat hanger or the hanger on which they drape their garment. So it's not about you once you hit the runway. So all that styling and profiling, dipping and datting and, you know, all of that, you have to forget about that. When designers are looking for someone to represent their brand, they're looking for class, elegance, runway presence, stage presence, whatever it is you want to call it, and the ability to sell that garment from the runway.
Right.
And my first experience with doing that was back in 2014 at Fashion on the Hudson. I was walking for this one particular designer. Her name is Doris Sims. I'm going to give her a shout out. She's on Facebook and Instagram, but I'll give you her information later. She asked me to walk for her. Well, first I had to audition. And then when I auditioned for her, I think I was the only mature model that she picked.
Wow.
And I was honored with that because, again, remember, I came into this industry in my 30s. And she said, I like your look, I like your style. And back then I had long locks, but we'll discuss that later. She said, I like your look and I like your style. And then the second show we did was at a show at the Watson Hotel here in New York.
Okay.
And she put me in this garment. We'll discuss the garment later.
Okay.
But she put me in this. It was beautiful black lace see-through. It was 3 pieces. It was a top, a pant set, and a skirt, a wraparound skirt. And she said, I know you can do this. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Because it was see-through. And the moment I hit the runway, there was a in the crowd. I heard it. It was gas. You could hear it. It was just this, oh my God, now I got to go out here and do my thing. I did what I thought was an amazing job because before I left the runway, she had orders.
Oh my God, that's
what it is. That's what it is to be a brand ambassador for a designer. Most of the shows done here in the underground fashion industry, sadly, no shade on anybody, they do not include buyers in the audience from like Macy's, Lord and Taylor, Saks Fifth Avenue. If they are in the audience, unbeknownst to me, they are in the audience, but most of the times the shows do not include garment buyers from small boutiques, large stores, international marketing, or anything like that. So a lot of the buying will be done from the everyday audience, from the woman that goes, oh my God, that looks so nice on her. I think I want that. Oh my God, look at her. She's in her 30s and she wears that garment. So the idea of being the brand ambassador is to be able to sell the people in the audience on the garment that you wear. Again, it's no longer about you. It's not about, oh, here I am. I've arrived. You arrived on the runway, but can you sell that garment from the runway?
That's what's up. That's that real talk right there, because I didn't even think about it like that. I've never attempted to be a brand ambassador, but I've never thought about, hey, listen, I'm here to sell this, not sell myself, to sell this. I have to take myself out the equation. And I think that's a great piece of advice for any young woman or young male for that point that is trying to break into the brand ambassador industry. And it is a lucrative industry once you latch on to the right people and show that you can take yourself out the equation and actually sell the product, right? And with that being said, we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to come back and talk about D.I.V.A.A. Okay?
Okay.
All right, let's go. Okay, we're back at the blueprint, and Nanette has given us a wealth of information already, not only about her modeling career, but about what it takes to be a brand ambassador. And I think that's great inspiration for all of those young kids that think it's just an easy job. It is a way into the fashion industry. It's a lucrative way, but with all things, it takes work, and it takes the ability to be able to, in your case, think outside the box. I don't think I could wear anything sheer. I think I would just melt right there on stage. I know in the fashion world we don't look at it that way. It's your body. But to walk out in front of a whole bunch of people, I probably would have like melted like a thing of ice cream.
I know, right? And at that time, when she asked me to put on that particular garment, now mind you, I started in the industry when I was in my 30s. By the time I got to her, I was in my 50s.
Oh my God! But that's beautiful. You pulled it off, regardless. And it's like they say, age is just a number. It's about mindset. You age with your mindset, believe it or not.
Actually, you do.
Yeah. So, but let's talk about the D to the I to the B to the A to the
A. Okay. What do we want to talk about? How we got started?
Let's start from the beginning, because this is your brand in a sense. Right. This is something that you created. This is something that you nurtured. Why don't we start from the beginning? How did it come about? How did you formulate the dream or goal into an actual branded product?
Well, looking at my age when I started and where I am now and where I was then, knowing what the market, even in the underground industry, knowing what the market is looking for. I couldn't see myself at that time, I thought, doing one runway for the rest of my life. So I wanted to branch out and help others who are not quite as seasoned as I am and who don't have as much opportunity. So I created this group. Actually, I started it on Facebook before I became a LLC, where designers, photographers, makeup artists, stylists, you name it. If you were posting and looking for models to help build your brand or do a photo shoot or walk in a fashion show or whatever the case is, I created the group D.I.V.A.A Casting Networks and Production with the intent of, I'm your go-to person when you need to find one of or more of the above aforementioned, entities in order to make your show work. How I came to the name D.I.V.A.A to the A to the A was the name has a great deal of significance for me because Diva stands for divinely inspired, victoriously anointed and appointed. Now, how did I get that? Some years ago, when I was a teenager in my church, and back then I was going to a Pentecostal church. I was very fashionable, but not very welcomed in a Pentecostal church. Anybody raised in a Pentecostal church will know what I mean. Being fashionable and being in a Pentecostal church was against church doctrine. Okay. And we won't go into that, but again, those raised in a Pentecostal church will understand what I'm saying. Okay. And at this particular weekend, they were having a youth revival service, and this minister, his name is Terrell Thomas, had come from South Carolina. Never saw the man before the weekend. Never, ever saw him, never talked to him, didn't know he even existed. And they were having this revival this particular Friday night, and he singled me out. I was like, okay, what did I do wrong, God? Talk to me before I get there because I don't want to be embarrassed. And he spoke into my spirit about fashion. Like, okay. I think I was all of 13, 14, some years like that. He spoke into my spirit about fashion, and he said to me, your gift will make room for you. It will take you before men and women you don't know. It will take you places you've never been. I was like, okay. And he named it for me. He called it D.I.V.A.A.
Get out of here.
He named it D.I.V.A.A. Yes, he did.
Oh, wow.
He named me Diva because he said to me, "You are divinely inspired, victoriously anointed and appointed." So I just took it. And that's how Diva came to be.
You know, I got chills going down right now because it's a real thing, you know, and you know, I hate to use this word, but the blueprint that you're using is kind of what everybody, not just people in the fashion industry, need that networking capability. And you're like that middleman, that face man, well, not man, but face woman, that is actually putting the pieces together for people. We just came out of a 2-year pandemic of being in the house.
Yes.
A lot of people don't even know how to network anymore because, you know, it's a skill set that we haven't used in 2 years. And you're helping people find the people that they need for fashion shows, for photography, for brands, for clothing, for lines. And you know, I salute you. I salute you for creating, you know, something that is kind of forcing people, like, because anybody in the fashion industry, you got to network. There's no way around it. Yeah. Whether you're starting at the beginning or you're way up there in the ranks, you've got to network. You know, the moment that you stop networking with other people, you kind of watch your career fade away. It's a very interactive industry, and it's beautiful. So definitely, I want people to check out that page. D to the I, D to the A to the A, you know, and I'm going to write it out correctly. But I want people to go ahead and check out that page, especially if you're in the industry. But most importantly, if you're looking for opportunities to network and take what it is that you're doing to the next level. Fashion, you know, as much as people think, you know, they do, whether you're doing makeup or you're doing clothing, designing clothing, it's not a solo job. It's a very symbiotic relationship, down to the damn DJ that plays music when people are going down the runway. So you have to get out there. That's the thing that we've been pushing at Red Media Radio, is get outside. It's been 2 years sitting on the couch. Get outside. It's nice out there. It's people like Nanette that are actually facilitating people getting outside and networking. You know, there's a lot of people, they want to have these fashion shows. They want to have these great brand ambassadors, you know, that's going to actually sell the product. You know, this is the tool that you need right here. That is the tool. So make sure you check that out. Another thing that what I would really love to talk about is there's a teaching aspect to what you do.
Yes.
Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
You know?
Yes, it's a teaching aspect, yes.
What is that all about?
That has a few legs. It's the runway coach, the model coordinator, and a designer assistant. That has a couple of legs. I teach runway to up-and-coming models. I teach correct runway to some of those who have been on the runway for a minute, but again, have forgotten that the runway is not about them. It's about the designer and the designer's garments. Model coordinator, again, putting together the shows, and in that aspect, the other umbrella up under that is also, you know, being a runway coach. And then working with the designers, I teach the models how to properly work with the designer. Because what I grow tired of, and it's never going to end, is seeing a model. Once you get dressed, you do several things wrong. You're eating, you're drinking, you're smoking in the designer's garment. And then you hand it back to the designer.
Oh, wow.
After you done smoked in it, now she's got to get it clean. You've eaten in it, and God forbid that maybe perhaps you dropped a little something on it, or you drank in it, you dropped a little, but now they got to get it clean. But what models fail to understand, and I'm trying to encourage designers to do this as well. And it's not a form of punishment. It's just responsibility. If you eat in it, drink in it, smoke in it, rip it, you're responsible for it. You as the model.
Mm-hmm.
because the designer hung it on you. They made you responsible for that garment. And
Right.
while it seems like a cruel and unusual punishment, trust
Mm-hmm.
me, it's not. Because if you were the designer and that were your garment and you hung it on a model and they came back and put that thing through it on a
Mm-hmm.
floor or just flung it across the room or whatever, just left it,
Mm-hmm.
you would want somebody to compensate you for, especially
Yes.
since it took you, it takes money to buy the garment.
Mm-hmm.
It takes money to make the garment. Now the idea of you being the model, the hanger, is to
Mm-hmm.
sell the garment and make some kind of profit on it. But if
Right.
you destroyed the garment, they can't make money, least of all a profit. So what I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to instill into models is being responsible for the garment that the designer gives to you. It's
Right.
your responsibility. From the moment you cast, they fit you, you're responsible for it until you take it off. And then the moment
Yes.
you take it off, trust me, you're still responsible for it until you give it back to the designer the way you found it. Now, if you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
pay a penalty, and again, not all designers and not all shows do this, but it is, I'm putting it out there so people will understand.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just, oh my God, I'm a model and oh, goodness. You have to be responsible as a model. There's a responsibility. It's a job. You can walk into your job and just trash the place and then
Oh,
look
hell.
around and then walk out at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, when your boss finds out it's you who did it, guess what? It's
You
either
fired.
money out your salary.
And you fired.
Come on now.
No, you're completely right. All things do have. You know, the greater the reward, the greater the responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And many of these designers spend a lot of time. It's not so much the money, it's the time, because you never get that back. You never get that back, and you have to be respectful of people's time. With this teaching aspect, now, are you thinking at any stage of making like an open thing where people can sign up to be mentored by
Yes.
you?
Yes, I am. I got sidetracked with COVID, like most. I didn't stop networking, but I got sidetracked because everything was shut down. And then that was in 2020. And then in 2021, I had some major back surgery, so I got sidetracked with that as well. But right now, I'm working with a young lady out of Oklahoma to help her build her brand. And we're also working on putting together a curriculum for the models in her team that will spill over to here in New York. But I'm starting in the Oklahoma market, and I'm doing that because New York is saturated. It's saturated in a lot of areas in terms. Huh?
It's my hometown. It's saturated with everything. I'm in Jersey now, but I'm from Queens.
It's saturated in terms of, fashion. Because everybody comes to New York. They come from Oklahoma. They come from Texas. They come from Mississippi. They come from Alabama just to break into the fashion industry where you can actually start it in your own hometown. So I'm working with this young lady in Oklahoma, yes, to teach her group of models. And right now, I think she has about 50.
Okay.
So we're doing online and we're doing virtual.
Okay.
And then, once the saturation market here in New York kind of comes to maybe a plateau, so to speak, then I will do it here in New York. But again, coming out of COVID, there are a lot of places that have raised their prices for rentals of the studios, and a lot of people, sadly, even models, they're not compliant with, and I'm not saying you have to be, but if you know you want to be in a room with everyone else learning something, you're going to have to do something. You're either going to have to wear a mask or get vaccinated. And a lot of places won't take you unless you're fully vaccinated. Me, fully vaccinated and boosted.
Okay.
But a lot of models need to understand is, again, things are not for punishment, but if you want to succeed, sometimes you're going to have to bend a little.
You're going to have to bend a little. You're definitely going to have to bend. I'm excited for when whether it be Oklahoma, New York, or hint, New Jersey. I want you to keep me abreast of what is going on, so not only we can promote, because I think it's something that's needed. You know, this is the dream of so many young women from the ages of 13 on up, is to get into the industry. And there's so many predatory companies, there's so many companies that's not going to teach them anything. There's companies that's going to send them down the wrong path. And to have someone who says, hey, listen, I have a wealth of knowledge. I have a wealth of knowledge about the industry, about just being a human being, okay? Maybe I can throw my hat in the ring and help guide these young ladies or even young males into the right direction with modeling industry. It's a beautiful thing. I definitely want you to keep me updated with all movements as far as that's concerned, so that I can get the word out.
As a side note on the update, December of last year, I did a international competition in Africa. It was done virtually.
No. We're gonna get into that after we get into break. We need to segue into that, because that is amazing.
Okay, I'll leave that one alone.
Awesome. We're just gonna say Africa, okay, and then we're gonna go to break, and then we're gonna come back, and I'm gonna let you tell this beautiful, beautiful story about Africa. Okay, we're gonna leave it at that. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
All right, let's go.
Ethereal collection.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you.
Ethereal collection. The fashion line inspired by Red Radio.
Okay, here we are back at the Blueprint with Nanette, who, once again, you know, it's just amazing. Though not only the longevity of your career, but how you keep yourself still a relevant person in the fashion industry. Not many people can say that. You know, many people just wear one hat. They just wear one hat all the way into the dirt. And you have decided to expand on your knowledge, thereby bringing value to others. Again, we talked about the D to the I to the V to the A to the A, you know, where you're allowing people the opportunity to go ahead and network and find the talent that they need via your vehicle, D.I.V.A.A. production. You know, you have a teaching aspect to teach young ladies or young men or both, you know, the correct way to get into the industry. You know, more than likely, I'm quite sure, you know, fashion has no color, but I'm quite sure that you're going to be, you know, ahead of the curve as far as helping brown and black people getting to that next level, because as we talked about earlier, there's always been a struggle. It gets a little bit better, you know, it gets a little, mainly because the rest of the world wants to copy what it is that black and brown people do. So yes, it's getting better. It's causing companies to actually rethink their policies, rethink, you know, how they market their products and who wears their products. But, you know, with that being said, I had to say this for last. Tell us about Africa. Come on, Africa. Africa, come on, tell me about it.
Okay, so Africa. Y'all, I'm going to Africa.
Yes, there you go.
Let me tell you how that came to be.
Yes.
Last year, while I was recovering from surgery, I noticed this international competition going on. Actually, it started in 2020. And I was like, okay, how does this work? Then it popped back up last year, November, December. And all I had to do was register. I had met the young lady. Her name is Hope Shimmer, Chioma. I met her several years prior to. She was here in the United States from Nigeria. She walked in a fashion show, and so we became friends here, you know, in the States as well as on Facebook. And then I noticed that her virtual competition was again happening last year. So I entered. And I entered the requirements where you had to put up these pictures. You had to make a video of why you feel peace is important in Africa and how you can bring about that using your platform as a model.
Okay.
And then you had to do a walk video. So
Okay.
I was all geared up for several things. To not even be considered, to lose, or just or to just make it as a representative here in the United States.
Okay.
When the announcements came at the end of December, I won as the ambassador.
What?
For Africa.
What? Wait. You're the ambassador for the whole freaking country?
For the whole
that
freaking
is amazing.
Wait a minute now, for the whole freaking continent, but specifically Nigeria, the country within the continent. And I was not expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. I was like, oh my God. I know they had a United States category, they had a world category, they had a New York category, and I knew they had an Africa and a Nigeria category, but then you got people that live in Africa, you got people that live in Nigeria.
Right.
But
you done slayed it.
God is good. So I won representing Africa.
Oh, wow.
The Africa Fashion for Peace ambassador for Africa. Yes, I did. So from Christmas till now, been in the planning stage of putting together going to Africa. Now, let me tell you why going to Africa is significant for me. As a model, everyone wants to go to Europe. Everyone wants to go to England. No, don't get me wrong. London, England, Rome, Italy, Hong Kong. They want to go to all of Milan. And no shade. But just like New York, those places are saturated with fashion. But what most people don't understand is the European fashion market takes its cue from Africa.
I did not know that. Did not know that.
When you look at some of the European fashions and the fashion shows, lately they're breaking into having more Black models because they, again, too, with just no shade on anyone, the Caucasian stick figure, and that's it. But when, I want to say mid 2000s coming into, then the argument was, well, you don't use Black models or you don't use Black designers. Well, they still weren't using Black models and or Black designers. What they were doing, no shade, so please don't take it wrong, people. They were taking their Caucasian models, dressing them up with Black hair, Black wigs, locks, etc., and putting them in Afrocentric garments. No shade, and I'm prefacing this with honesty from my heart. I don't begrudge you that, but there was no authenticity to it.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry. No.
Again, there was just no authenticity to it. The look is good, but you're not projecting to the market that you want to sell to. Everybody can wear it. No, not begrudging anybody. Everybody can wear it. But again, we spend more money. We spend more money per capita than most people do.
We do.
But we're not being marketed. We're not being wooed into the fashion industry to spend our money where it's worthwhile for us. So
no, you're right.
I know a number of models who have gone to Europe, to Rome, to Paris, wherever. And it's good. Maybe someday I'll get there before I die. But the invitation to go to Africa.
Oh, that's gay.
To be in a fashion, not just to be in a fashion show, Louis, but to help coordinate the show with my sister Hope. Was an opportunity. Yes.
Oh, wait. I didn't know about that part. Say that again. You're going to do what?
I'm going to help her coordinate the show.
You're going to another continent, and you're going to do what?
Help coordinate and walk in a fashion show.
That is beautiful.
Yes.
I
started promoting it on my Facebook page back in January. Now, again, no shade. Please don't anybody take this wrong. No one took up the offer to go with me.
What?
No one.
What?
No one.
See, I can't walk.
No.
See, the problem
And
is
it's
the way that I
okay.
walk.
It's okay. It's okay, because now I get to be selfish and say I went to Africa while y'all were doing Paris and Rome and London and Milan. I went to Africa.
Oh
Another breakthrough for me. Another breakthrough for me.
That's right. That's what it's about. You have to. You know what? You can't wait for others to celebrate your wins. You know, especially when you're putting in the work. We're not talking about you just woke up one day and said, I want to do this. You actually put in the work to get to where you're at. And if part of the prize behind door number 3 is that you like to go to Africa, that's a wonderful thing. That's a win.
That's door number 1.
Huh?
For me,
door number 1.
Number 1.
Yeah, but I'm quite sure that there's going to be more coming your way after this. I'm not trying to say that's door number 3. There's just so many doors that's opening up for you because you're putting in the work. See, the grind respects the grind. You know, and that's what our youth doesn't seem to understand. It's not easy. You don't have, you know, the Naomi Campbells that just popped up out of nowhere. They put in work.
They put in
you
work.
know? Yeah, you know, they look at their music artists, they just see the end result. You know, I'm quite sure there's people that see you when you're on the runway and they just say, oh, well, that's just good luck. No, it's work. You know, it's work to master any craft. And with that being said, I mean, again, I see so many doors opening for you, you know, and I love it. I love it, you know, as a person that wakes up every day and tries to grind towards specific goals, I can only appreciate and be inspired by people that are, like the thing says on the flyer, that are out there making it happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I could talk to you like forever and ever and ever and ever, you know, because you have so much wealth of, you know, as far as fashion knowledge, as far as business knowledge, as far as, you know, learning how to get people together knowledge. What would you say to that 15, 16-year-old model that's dead set, that's sitting in the middle of Arkansas someplace and says, I want to be a model. This is my dream. What would Nanette tell that person?
I would say make sure it's where you want to go first and foremost, because a lot of models come into the industry with the expectation of being overnight wonders. There are no such thing as overnight wonders. Tyra Banks wasn't overnight. Naomi Campbell wasn't overnight. Iman wasn't overnight. Nanette Rhodesia Swain was not overnight. I started back in the 90s. Okay. And I'm coming into my own. It's coming into fruition. The blessings, the prophecy of who I am and what I'm meant to be. And understand that modeling is not just a hobby. You can make it a hobby. Mm-hmm. If that's all you want to do. But if you're looking to succeed in it, you have to understand that it is a job. It requires skills and crafts. It requires learning, understanding, paying attention, being able to take criticism. So you can't be thin-skinned being a model. You just can't be. Because somebody is going to say something to you that may, you know, oh, darling, I don't think that looks right on you. Or, darling, oh, no, we can't do that. Or that look just as... And you can't be thin-skinned walking into a photo studio, walking into a casting audition, walking into what we call a go-see, hitting the runway. You just cannot be thin-skinned. So you need to understand whether it is for you or not. It has to be your purpose.
Can you say that again?
It has to be your purpose.
Yes.
It has to be your purpose. You have to be willing to put as much time into being a modeling as you would put into your 9 to 5, working for someone else, making them rich, while you still collecting a paycheck, living check to check, day to day, trying to get to that $1 billion that they're already making.
Yep.
Am I making $1 million? Am I making $1 billion? No, I am not. But I'm willing to put in the work even at this age. And mind you, y'all, I'm 69, gonna be 70 in a couple of months.
Oh my God. Like, don't crack. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I'm ready to put in the work. I've been putting in the work diligently since 2016 when I took D.I.V.A.A Casting Networks and Production and turned it into a LLC.
Okay.
So you've got to put in the work. You've got to be open to, again, not settling for just being a model. There's more things to just being a model. Because again, when you reach a certain age, depending upon your overall look, how you keep yourself, your health, you might want to try a few different things. You know what I mean? Because not everybody can do a woman. I read one story of a woman. She's 80, 81. She's from Italy. I forget her name, but all you got to do is Google the 80, 81-year-old Italian model. Gorgeous, gorgeous white woman. Gorgeous, gorgeous, I tell you. But she's in her 80s.
Damn.
And there's a Japanese male model. They call him the grandfather of the runway. I forget his name as well. Can't tell brother he's in his 70s.
Damn.
You just can't do it.
Yeah.
And models have, again, it took them time. They weren't discovered overnight.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's going to take you till you're in your 50s and 40s and 60s. If you start early with a good agency, if you decide to go via agency or a good manager, and I'm going to say this as a sidebar, parents, when you get your children involved in modeling, be careful of the modeling agency and the management you sign them up with. Everything out here is not out to help you push your child into being modeling. Again, a sidebar, when I came in back in my 30s, I went to this one company that advertised in Midtown Manhattan. They asked for X amount of dollars and gave me 0 results.
Wow.
0 results.
Very predatory out there. Because it's a dream
results.
these kids have.
I did not start getting any results. And for some, being a freelancer may be the better way to go. You now have to decide as a model, do you want to be in an agency? Do you want to work under a management? Or do you want to do a freelance? Realistically, freelancers can get a little bit more, in my opinion, can get a little bit more because as a model, if you're looking to get paid and you're with management or an agency, they take a percentage. And if you're not making that much money from the beginning, your cut of whatever it is that you're supposed to get paid, not that much money. Really not that much money. Again, do your research on modeling, how models get paid, what models do get paid, what is the dollar amount for you being the model. When I say what models do get paid, I mean in what class, in what tier as a model are you on that's worth you getting paid.
Hey, before we close this out, and I want to thank you for your time, and I want to thank you once again for your wealth of knowledge and what you're doing. But I gotta ask this because I just feel this. When's the book coming out? See, you didn't think I knew.
See, that's a prophecy because, and you're not the only one who asked me. I don't know, and I don't want to speculate.
Okay.
I have to figure out how to incorporate that and get someone to help me put that together.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at the classroom, the online, someone, and I have a mentor, y'all. Get a mentor. Don't think you can do this by yourself. My mentor's name is Sophia Davis of Fashion Avenue News.
Yes, Sophia is awesome. She is awesome. Yes. She
is the CEO and founder of Fashion Avenue News. She has a number of magazines up under that. She is the CEO and founder of Fashion on the Hudson, one of the biggest fashion shows in New York City every year religiously, except for COVID. COVID, she didn't do it. She didn't do it 2020. She didn't do it last year. She's not doing it this year. But she's doing Fifi, and you guys missed that. See, that's the other thing. I post so much on my page, and I look for crowds of people that I tag. They don't even take the opportunity, like missing the trip to Africa. But get a mentor. Models, get a mentor. If it's not me, get someone who's been in the business for a minute. I'm not talking about your best friend who just got in there with you and you guys are struggling together. Get someone who knows the industry, who knows where you want to go, who has your best interest at heart. Even if it's not a manager or an agency, get a mentor.
Yes.
As a freelance model, get a mentor as well.
Yes. You know what? Again, I can speak to you forever. I'm learning so much. Please keep us advised on all of your endeavors. I think this was a very inspiring, not only me, and I'll never walk. Very inspiring. Trust me. But I think it's been very inspiring for the younger generation that listens to redmediaradio.com. I think when it goes as far as the video aspect, I think it will reach even more people. Again, what we try to do here at the Blueprint Red Media Radio, and in a sense what you try to do is to bring value to the lives of others. And I think that's the greatest gift that any human being can give is just bring value to other people's lives. And you've got so much on until you get the book out, but you got so much going on that just screams, hey, I'm bringing value to your life. So that is a beautiful thing. Hopefully we'll have you back after you return back from Africa so you can share all those great memories. I want to thank you once again for being on the Blueprint. I can't wait till the video comes out because you just told the whole audience that you're like over 60 years old, and once they see the visual, they're gonna be like, "Oh, she lying."
Honestly, God has been good considering everything I've been through.
There you go. You gotta, keep a proper mindset, and I'm quite sure you're gonna tell the rest of your book, so I'm not gonna give it away. Okay. So, with that being said, I'm Red. You've been listening to
D.I.V.A.A. Casting Networks and Nanette Rhodesia Swain.
There you go. Hey, thank you so much once again. Looking forward to seeing you very, very soon right here on Red Media Radio.
Yes.
All right?
Looking forward to being back. Thank you.
Yes, that's awesome. Great.
Okay.